Hey everyone, Sky here to discuss The Expendables 2, starring Sylvester Stallone, Jason Statham, Jet Li, Dolph Lundgren, Chuck Norris, Terry Crews, Randy Couture, Liam Hemsworth, Scott Adkins, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Bruce Willis, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, directed by Simon West. Now, I have seen this movie before in theaters, and I've watched it maybe a few times, maybe on Blu-ray, depending on what you think. But we'll see how this review will go. We'll see. Let's get into it. In Nepal, we get the Expendables Barney Ross, returned by Sylvester Stallone, Toll Road, returned by Randy Couture, Lee Christmas, returned by Jason Statham, Yin Yang, returned by Jet Li, Gunnar Jensen, returned by Dolph Lundgren, and Hail Caesar, returned by Terry Crews, shooting up a village to kill the soldiers and save a friend of America that happens to be Trench, returned by Arnold Schwarzenegger. as they hear as they're here to save a Chinese billionaire, as the Expendables are doing the same thing. And there's so many callbacks to other films these actors did in their past. For example, Hail Caesar says to Trench, "If I don't get this back, your ass is terminated." As Trench replies, "In your dreams." Which did crack me up, but it's unnecessary at best. As they get to the jungle, a new recruit named Billy the Kid, played by Liam Hemsworth, a new guy, saves Barney and Christmas's life. As they get to the plane, Barney and Christmas pick up the other guys, except for Billy so far. They might have picked him up off screen, who knows. And they blow up a bridge and lose their jet skis. Some of the guys came in earlier in the film. As they fly up and pick up Billy off screen, and we get to China at night, and the billionaire gets a shortcut way home with Yin Yang, and the guys celebrate at a bar with Lacey, aka Christmas's girlfriend from the last movie. And this opening is action packed, but is it is it as good as the hysterical pirate scene at the beginning of the first one? No, but it's still a fun time for a B movie. Billy thinks about quitting the Expendables and joining his French girlfriend, as he wants to finish the month off, and Barney accepts his resignation, and Barney goes on a motorcycle ride back to the plane as he's encountered by Church, returned by Bruce Willis, as he gives him another assignment to pay him back because of what happened in Valena in the last film. And their contact this time is Maggie Chin, and meets her on her motorcycle at 7 a.m. And I'm thinking, what the fuck happened to Mickey Rourke's character? Tool from the last film is his name. Yeah, that's right. He wasn't doing any film that I would know of that looked good, so it's his loss, I guess. While on the ride over to Eastern Europe, to do what exactly? I don't know, but here's my guess. Trying to stop an unexpected threat, Maggie chats with Billy about his story in the army, which isn't a bad monologue by Liam Hemsworth. It's more adequate at best. They get to Eastern Europe and walk up on a hill and find a broken in half plane. As they get in to look around, and Maggie gets a bomb started as she stopped it and gets something, while Barney and Hail Caesar hold on to a trapdoor with their muscles. And the next scene, they bump into Billy, captured by Verlaine, played by Jean-Claude Van Damme, as he kills Billy. And this is the first Van Damme I've ever seen in a movie, I'll say. And he does have an impressive ability to kick, but I'm not impressed with his performance at all. Like, as he's not as good as of a villain as Eric Roberts from the last film. And the movie is okay looking, but not great in my opinion. It's kind of forgettable, honestly. Billy has a letter for his French girlfriend, as Barney finds out what he was in the thing that were talking from the broken in half plane, and they bury Billy. And this isn't great acting by these tough guy actors, as the story is cliche in general. Like, I've seen this type of movie before where they try to kill the bad guy for killing off a friend or any woman. And I swear to God, this is so fucking cliche. It's not funny at all. It's just, honestly, it's so cliche, it's not funny. The Expendables get to a land as Villain is underground as they track him and try to get information about Villain and where his hideout is as Barney and Christmas beat the shit out of him of a giant with the knuckle ring, which is a classic. And Maggie gets the info as the guys don't, and we get to an abandoned town and stay inside a pizza place for the night. And the dialogue at times was kind of funny in a cliche way, and there's times it was a complete groaner. The next morning, the Expendables get shot at while in the pizza place as the bad guys have a tank, and who shoots them while they're attacking the Expendables? Booker, played by Chuck Norris, who's the actor that was a problem on the set, as he's the one who wouldn't curse despite the R rating, which is a real behind the scenes drama to the point we didn't need this character. If they just cut him out, it would have saved the movie, but he's briefly here, and this is my first Chuck Norris film like Van Damme also, and to be brutally honest, I don't like him. He's the reason that the next movie might be PG-13 as far as I'm concerned. They get to another town where they hate the bad guys, and they join them to fight them and save their town, and we learn a little more about the bad guys and what they do to the townspeople. As they take the men as they only have the women and they killed the children. But I decided, like I did with the last one, to turn off my brain while watching this movie, as it is popcorn entertainment B movie at best. The bad guys tried to shoot up in the town as the Expendables fight off the bad guys, and the most groaner line in the film is Barney saying, "Rest in pieces." Oh, and that was the loudest groaner of a line I've ever heard from these actors. I mean, Jesus Christ. The Expendables get back on the plane to rescue some men as they crash the wings on the plane and burst in the bad guy's hideout as Villain blows up part of the tunnel and the Expendables are trapped with the men while Gunner asks for gunpowder to make a bomb in order to get out of the trapped tunnel as the bomb didn't blow up and and a giant monster truck comes through as it's Trench and he says, "I'm back," which is a line from Terminator 3, and gets everyone out, and Church arrives to kick some ass, and they get to Villain, and all this is funny in a cringeworthy kind of way. The Expendables start shooting Villain and his men down and have a final gunplay shootout. And Booker arrives as a sniper, and I hope he's gone by the next one, I'm not gonna lie. And Barney goes after Villain while Church and Trench argue between "I'll be back" and "Yippee-ki-yay." And Trench says, "Who's next, Rambo?" as they're all making me crack up inappropriately, I'll say. Christmas fights people with knives as he's almost killed by the second in command until Christmas pushes him to chop his head off on the, kind of like in Raiders of the Lost Ark with the wings cutting the guy's head off, except Raiders was off screen, this was on screen. And Barney catches up with Villain as he proposes to Barney to kill him like a man with fists and feet until Barney uses the chain stabs Villain with Billy's knife and collects his head and gives it to the CIA as Church gives Barney a new plane as Barney sends a package of Billy's letter as well as money to his French girlfriend, and they celebrate Billy's vengeance. And the climax is entertaining as it can be a good time, but it can also be a bad time. It depends on anybody's point of view. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 5.0 out of 10. I didn't like this movie, nor did I hate this movie. At best, it was in the middle of the road for me, like Man of Steel, as I turned off my brain, as this is a B movie with some funny things as well as some groaner lines. At the plot And this plot is cliche, and the classic lines were funny to hear again, but it's unnecessary. But personally, I'll never put this back on my 4K Blu-ray player or collection ever again. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me, and next time will be a lot worse when we get to the Expendables 3. And until then, are you crazy? Could have killed me. You're welcome.